Do you ever feel like you cancel everything you say you're going to do?
Hi, I'm Phoebe.
Hi, I'm Jacque.
And welcome to Do You Ever Feel Like?
Where we ask the questions that everyone's thinking and no one's answering.
I used to be at my desk, at my office job, at like 8:45.
Yeah.
And now I'm like whiffing around in my gym jams, trying to decide what coffee I'm going to have.
Yeah.
Doing a page or two of my morning pages.
You can do that, but you have to get up at 7.
I try. Like I try. I have lamps. When I go to bed, it's so fucking stupid looking. I look insane.
Oh, me too.
I got
Me too.
I have a seasonal machine.
Yes.
Like whether it's the AC or the humidifier, there's the machine going.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the fan.
Mm-hmm.
Then if the windows are open, which I don't control the heating in my apartment, so the windows are open in the winter too. Oh, it's hell. I think it's human rights violation. It's a human rights violation.
Aren't you on the top floor too?
It's 32 degrees in our apartment in the winter. It's horrible. Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, geez. Mm-hmm. No.
Many things in renting I think are a human rights violation.
Oh, yeah. That's a pod for sure.
It makes me feel insane.
Experience. Yeah.
But then I've added a sleep mask. Oh. I'm this close to getting like, what do you call them? Earplugs. I'm really close. Mm-hmm. Then also I have a sleepy light.
Dark hole.
Yeah. There was a hotel that we stayed at in Paris that the whole hotel was like painted really, really dark green. And they had these blackout curtains. Oh. Best sleep of my entire life.
I love a blackout curtain.
Also, hotel AC. It was 19 degrees in the room. It was perfect.
Yes.
It was perfect. It was crispy cold.
Cold. Frigid.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. So I go to sleep. I have a sleepy light. So it dims over the course of 20 minutes. Mm. And then I have a wake-up light that has chirpy birds, and the light gets brighter over the course of half an hour. And then my dumb, rude ass hits snooze for an hour.
When do you sleep? Like, when do you go to bed?
I get in my bed between 10:30.
Okay.
Like, the television gets turned off at like 10.
Uh-huh.
I maybe read. I maybe I might do a stretch. I might do a something.
Yeah.
Simon walks in. He puts his head down on a pillow and he falls asleep. And I lay there until 1 a.m.
Oh my God. Okay. Mm-hmm. I used to be like you. Apparently this is the podcast. We're talking about sleep. So I used to be like you. And I used to have actual insomnia. Mm-hmm. And now the roles have reversed in our relationship, which is interesting in Jack and I's relationship. But okay, wait, have you gone through your list? Are you done? Is that all?
That's my list. That's the thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's drama. Also, if you talk to me in the morning, I will punch you.
Right.
Like Simon will he ordered breakfast the other day.
Oh,
he was like, hi, like, here's a coffee. Breakfast is here. And I was like, get the fuck out. I was like, how dare you look me in the eye?
Mm-hmm. Ugh. So that trick that they say of when you don't sleep, you wake up anyways. Mm-hmm. Never, basically what you're saying, don't snooze. Yeah. Even if you fall asleep at 1 and your alarm is for 7 and you got 6 hours of sleep, wake up anyways, because then you'll be exhausted the next day, blah, 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 blah. I find that really worked for me. And
Yeah, I try.
Yeah.
It's just quite literally waking up. And this is what I think it's really, I mean, I even think about it. I was talking to my sister the other day. I used to wake up at like 4:45 in high school so that I could like wash my hair every day and straighten it. Oh my
God. I had this same thought the other day. I was like, I used to wake up so early.
Yeah, because I wanted the first shower in the house. I wanted the first shower.
Oh my God, you had so many people. Yeah.
We had one bathroom.
I used to get no sleep because I would be like talking to my boyfriend on the phone until like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And then I would get like 4 hours of sleep and I would wake up at 5 and I would do my whole face and I would straighten my hair. Ew. What was I doing?
I know. Why? I used to wear heels to school in high school. I wore heels.
That's a lot.
I can't even imagine. I pulled them out the other day. They're like a pair of boots. And I was like, I'll try these on. And I was like, no, my arches.
Like, what? No. Also, what is a high schooler doing walking around in heels? Like, no. Wow.
Being delusional is the answer.
Yes. Yeah.
Being delusional.
I'm like the same way about like sleep things. I think we all are. But like, I have my stuff just like you. I've got my like potions and things on the side of the bed as well.
Yeah.
Right? I've got my lavender sleep spray, my creams, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I like have my like support pillow for my legs and my like contour pillow for like my head, like all the things, And I'm like, I have like 7 pillows that do different things. And then you always have to have like the perfect amount of blanket on you.
Yeah.
With like one leg out.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I have my alarm clock that does the same thing. Like it dims and then like comes up. And then I have my white noise machine.
Yeah.
I need all these things.
We're just elderly. We're just elderly.
All these things. And I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. But still, and I sleep well now. And I've gone through a whole lot of stuff to get where I am to sleep well. But like, if I don't have those things, I don't sleep as well. You know what I mean? Like I'm like at 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm so tired. I'm like falling asleep and I get up at like 6 in the morning and or I won't sleep the next day. I also find, how they talk about moving your body and how that makes you tired too. Like if you move your body during the day, you'll probably sleep better at night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I think I do think I'm in a particularly weird season of sleep right now because I do like nothing. I wouldn't really say a lot has changed, but like I cut out the coffee. I don't look at my phone. All the things, and it's also funny too. Like having I think honestly, I think part of it is more just I am probably just more of a nighttime person.
Yeah,
and I think I'm like torturing myself into like some sort of I should be good and sitting at my desk by a certain time. And I just don't. And I haven't. Like it's been years of me trying to wake up.
Yeah. I mean, be who you need to be. Be who you need to be.
I know.
That's fine. That's totally fine. Be who you need to be. Yeah, Jack does this thing now, but we're between 1 and 2. He's just like awake.
Yeah, I wake up every night too. Yeah.
I used to wake up every night on like every hour.
Yeah.
Now I don't. Yeah. Anyways, point is like getting to a place where you feel positive about your sleep or where you feel like content with sleep is really hard. Sleeping well is hard.
Yeah, I was listening to an Ologies episode. They had a sleep researcher, sleep doctor on, and he was saying something I thought was really funny. Like when he goes, people will go in for a sleep study, and they'll ask him in the morning. They'll be like, "Oh, how did you sleep?" They'll be like, "Oh, horribly." And then, but like they'll look at their chart and it's like, well, I can see you got 6 hours straight. Like, and I can see your REM pattern and stuff like that. So I also try to remind myself of that, of like, I don't know. I think it's similar. I think we'll have like I don't know what we'll call it, like a sleep reckoning kind of thing. Like this blanket health advice that we just administer for everybody, like, 8 hours and like this time is the time to be at your desk or whatever, is just not like, I need a lot of sleep and I don't go to sleep until late.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of stuff around sleep.
Like, I think sleep will have a similar, and obviously because it's like, very different thing, but I just feel like it's like similar to like diet culture kind of reckoning. Like what we're actually talking about is far more complicated than just like this, handful of sentences of like, here's what you got to do. Oh my God. Do people give their kids melatonin gummies? Have you heard of this?
I have.
I've just seen this. I just saw this recently. That's so fucked up.
It's interesting because like there's a lot of stuff. I take care of babies.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff with sleep and babies and like sleep training kids, having them figure out a positive like relationship to sleep. And it's complicated.
Yeah.
I get it. Don't give your child. I mean, I agree with you, but also I can understand why a desperate parent is like, will you fall asleep? You know what I mean?
I think that there's like, I don't like, the world is not set up for parents, right? Especially of young children. But I think we really have to ask ourselves something like when we're giving something like something that our like body makes. I mean, I don't know. This is what I mean. Like, I just think there's going to be like a long-term effects to these things. And I just feel like there's going to be like the information that comes out like 10 years from now. It's like, wow, not a great move kind of thing. Move. I saw something the other day. It's like in Denmark, you can't just buy supplements. You can't buy like even like a Tylenol or an Advil or anything like that. Everything is administered by a pharmacist.
Oh.
And which I think is like, it makes so much sense because a lot of the time they'll be like, oh, well, you just bought Tylenol. Like, you bought 30 days worth of Tylenol 30 days ago. So you're taking a painkiller every day. Seems like maybe there's something else going on. Here's some for now, but like go see a doctor kind of thing. So it's like, it's a lot more preventative. But things like, I just think it's so crazy. And I take a lot of supplements because I see a naturopath who prescribes them to me. Like I see a doctor who prescribes them to me. And I think it's just so like strange when people are like DIYing their healthcare or like, here's what you should take for a good night's sleep. I'm like, well, just because we're falling asleep, like, I don't know. I like I said, I think it's far more complicated than what we're than a melatonin gummy could suggest.
Right. Exactly. Like, I think exactly. Yeah. I mean, I hear that and I go like, are we putting a Band-Aid on this problem? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. There's like an underlying issue that's not being addressed probably.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, people wake up exhausted because they're chronically exhausted.
Yeah.
People wake up exhausted because of the world we live in. It's not like it might not be anything to do with the quality of their sleep. There's a million different things. But I see I totally hear what you're saying. And like,
I find it stressful.
I find it stressful too. I think we have to be far more careful than we are about this stuff, especially when it comes to pain management.
Oh yeah.
That's a whole other thing. But like pain, like scary.
I don't think people know that they can't not be in pain.
Yeah, that's also really interesting too.
Like,
there's all these like expressions of like, well, this is just what it is to get older, or this is just what it is to like have had a kid and not be able to properly pee. And this is what it is to like, you know what I mean? As if like we just decay, you know what I mean? And are supposed to be falling apart.
And there aren't many things that you could do.
Yes.
Or like other people could do to help. Yeah.
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 Anyways.
What are we even talking about today? I actually don't even know.
Sleep, apparently. No, my question, and I feel like this is like a quick rant between the two of us, is do you ever feel like you cancel everything you say you're going to do. Do you ever feel like you cancel every commitment you make to yourself or others? That's my question.
I think no.
Okay.
I think no. But I don't. But like I want to. And then I do. Oh, it's so hard.
It's complicated.
It's so hard. I don't cancel commitments to myself. I don't. Mm-hmm. I take my relationship with myself very seriously, and like my projects, my things I make, I'm very
That's number one.
Yeah, it's number one to me, and I think it will probably always be my entire life.
Yeah.
But but then also like going to teach a class, going to do a thing, like having the momentum to keep going is maybe where the canceling just feels. And it's so fucking hard when you're your own boss, because you just go, I'm not doing it. Bye.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with that right now.
Yeah. It's so hard because, I don't remember who this was, but honestly, it might have been, I don't remember who this was. Oh, it was Glennon Doyle. I was listening to We Can Do Hard Things, and Glennon Doyle maybe was on her Instagram. I don't know. She was basically mad at her wife, Abby, because she was like, why do you want to go do things all the time? Like, her thing was like, I have such a vibrant internal world going on that I don't need to go have adventures on a boat. Like, I can just sit in my living room. And this tension is very evident in my relationship with my husband. This tension. Yeah. I'm like, I want to go do things. I want to schedule things. I want to be an overscheduled squirrel. You know what I mean? Like, that's doing too much. And he's like, I don't need to do anything to feel content in my like inner world, right? And so I always think to myself like, oh, I catch myself when I'm canceling things. I'm like, oh, this is what it is. You are like, you were feeding the squirrel, and now you need to stop feeding the squirrel, and you need to take a breath. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I think that all these things, like, I think these like scheduled things will like bring me something. Like, filling up the time will bring me something. And it's like, that's not true, or all of the time, like,
yeah. Is it like, do you do all of them?
No.
Yeah.
I don't do all of them. I know I'm not going to do all of them, but I still am like, I'm going to schedule this, or I'm going to do this. And I'm like, what is that? Anyways, this is something that comes up a lot in my relationship, because then I'm like canceling, or I'm changing around my schedule, or like I'll say to Jack, this is what my day looks like. And by 2:00, my day looks nothing like I said it was going to look like.
Yeah.
And he's like, what happened? And I'm like, well, this is just
the wind.
Life.
Yeah, the wind changed directions is what happened.
Like, what happened is I canceled everything, or went back on everything I said I was going to do. That's what happened. Like, Yeah. I feel like I cancel things everywhere and all the time. And I feel like I cancel, I would say I cancel a lot of commitments to myself. And I'm still, even with this whole practice of the last 8 months, like, that is still really hard for me.
What is canceling on yourself look like?
Canceling on myself is, I don't know, if I have a buffer between things and I'm like, oh, I need that hour to eat something, don't schedule anything in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell. It's always about somebody else. I'll tell
Mm-hmm.
someone else, oh, I can go a half hour. Oh, I can blah, 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 whatever, when I really can't.
Yeah.
You know? Or, you know, I'll work until 8 when I wanted to like stop at 7, or I'll like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a funny, like, I think I feel really like in canceling, in sending the text message.
Yeah.
I like, I am so overcome with guilt when I cancel on like a plan with a friend. But I have the most, and like I'd hope so, have the most understanding people in my life.
Yeah.
Where like me canceling is really not a big deal.
Yeah.
To them, and like I feel very supported in that decision. It's funny, I was just listening, I was just editing the Besties episode. Does everyone feel like your best friends? And I was thinking about this. Wait, what is my thought? Oh my God. Wait a second.
I feel like, yes, I think it's good to surround yourself with people who are going to understand that.
Oh, I remember.
Go ahead. Yes.
Oh my God. I like, when canceling on a friend, I feel like very supported in that decision. But at the same time, I feel like I get excuses from a handful of people. And like that really bothers me. But then I'll catch myself doing the same thing, right? Where I'll start be like, I'm not gonna do like a little thing or whatever. And I really push myself to be very like, here's why I work. I simply don't feel like it. I simply don't want to leave my house right now. And I think I've got it, like, we've all got to be really okay with saying that.
Yes.
Like, we've all got to get really okay with saying that. And like, it bothers me so much when I get what feels like an excuse. And I'm not mad at the canceling. I'm always frustrated by dishonesty.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
the like white lie of it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like, oh, it's just, I get the bus and the beyond my control. I'm like, that's like, whatever. It doesn't matter. And it makes me feel uncomfortable doing it, but I always would prefer to get that text than, and I feel that way with myself too, where I'm like, if I want to cancel, like doing an obligation that I have.
Yeah. Something that okay, we're going in a million places.
I know.
I hear what you're saying. I would prefer someone be honest than make excuses. For sure. We should definitely all just like give each other grace to be like, I overextended myself, or I don't want to see you.
Yeah.
Or I don't like whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Like I would prefer something else. You know what I mean? I think we all need to give each other grace to do that, because we're just lying to each other. That's something I catch myself in all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm a liar. Like I am just lying to the people that I care about. And that is not okay. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, I hate that.
Yeah.
What have you changed your mind about?
I've changed my mind today about wearing makeup. That's all.
You love it?
I went to a makeup trial thing for this wedding that I'm planning. And I'm like,
wedding.
Ooh.
Your wedding.
Whatever.
Your wedding.
Thank you, Phoebe. I look beautiful. I'm going to wear makeup now all the time. And I will probably not feel this way tomorrow. But that's how I feel today.
You love it. Today you love it.
Today, I love it. Yes.
Okay, great. I put makeup on today.
You always have. I feel like you always have at least like an eye and a lip.
I used to be a real big makeup girly. Speaking of waking up, like fun. Before my desk job, I would do like a full face of makeup.
How?
Lady Gaga bleached her eyebrows a couple of years ago, and I said, me too. And
I've seen these pictures. I've
seen
these pictures with Phoebe's blonde brows.
I loved it. I looked like a little scary vampire. And then I would put like colored lipstick. Like I would do like pink or green eyebrows.
Love it.
Like every day. That's insane. And then I would go to my studio and like sweat. Yeah.
Really wild.
Yeah. Makeup.
No, I already want to take this full face of makeup off, and I've had it on for 2 hours. Like, I'm like, what is this? I love it and I hate it. But today I love it. Here I am.
Yeah.
What have you changed your mind about? What have you changed your mind about?
I actually don't know if I've changed my mind. I've just been on like this exploration of having children. And I don't know if maybe I'll change my mind at the end of this, but I'm so curious about it. And listener, I would love, I don't know what my question is yet. I think it's something around the decision to become, and very specifically, I'm interested in motherhood. And I've been examining, is it the choice to become a parent? Is it the choice, like, no, to me, it's very specifically motherhood. And I'm curious about that. And I don't know what my question is. It's something like, what made that, how did you make that decision? Do people ever make that decision? Like I'm really quite bamboozled by the whole thing. I'm reading Motherhood by Sheila Heti right now. I keep talking about it with everybody in my life. And I find, and maybe it's like reaching, the end of your 20s, but I feel like this insane amount of pressure.
Yeah. That's real.
And I hate it. And I didn't ask for this pressure. So fuck off.
Yeah. Where does this stuff come from?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So to me, I guess maybe what I've changed my mind about is like, to me, it's always just been yeah, sure. That sounds cool. And now I have so many questions. Like I've just been really thinking about it. I've been talking about it with my therapist. I've been talking about it with my boyfriend. Like I got a lot of questions, and I dislike that we're just all chill about it. I'm like,
but I don't think we're all just chill about it. I don't.
But like people, this is an episode. This is a full-on episode. But I'm bringing it up here because I want to hear from you, listener.
Yes.
Like I am so curious whether like you made the decision to have a child or not. Like I want to hear about it. Or like, do we ever make a decision?
Yeah, that's my theory. My theory is that we don't.
That's what I think. But then you have to at some point.
Yep.
No?
I don't know.
Like we don't, but we do.
We don't, but we do.
Some people really do. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. This is another pod.
It's for certain another pod, but I'm at like the beginning stages of this thought. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're like literally in the process of the changing of the mind is where you're at. Yeah.
And reading this book is like not helping with my feeling of like lostness. It's just giving me more. And it's making, I do feel at the very least like somebody's taking this like questioning seriously. Because the questioning is the thing that I feel like, when I talk about it, people are like, you figure it out. I'm like, but.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. Same.
Do you?
I'm like, do you? Do you figure it out?
And I don't want to just figure it out. Like
exactly.
I don't, and I don't feel like it's fair to a human being. To be like, I don't know. I didn't know what we're doing. I'm just figuring it out. So anyway, that's what I've changed my mind about.
Great.
You need to go.
Okay.
Okay, back to the pod.
We have to be more honest with each other, more allow for these things. It creates more trusting relationships, I think. something for such a long time, I got so much crap for being late from everyone in my life. Like, this is something like everyone was always like, oh, Jacqueline's going to be 15, 20 minutes late. Doesn't matter if she says 2 o'clock. She really means 2:15. And you know what? I try to do the thing that's like, if you think it's going to be 2, Jacqueline, say it's 2:15. That whole thing. And I'm like, and sometimes I'm really great about it. And then other times I'm like, no. Like, if this person knows me and loves me and I know them and love them, like, who cares if I'm 15 minutes? Like, whatever.
You know what I mean? What?
Can we just be ourselves?
Whatever. I know.
And be honest with each other? Like, I'm not going to send you like you know what I mean? Like, let's do a 2:15 because I'm usually 15 minutes late. Like, no. Like, can I just be 15 minutes late?
But like, what's 15 minutes late to brunch, like,
exactly.
And I think when I get so in my head about cancel, like if I'm going to cancel a workshop or something like that I'm doing, it's like it's some sort of like mark of me as a human being. Like, I am letting, and I think it's so funny, like when I think of it, like I'm like letting people down. Well, am I?
Are you? Right.
Am I? Like, people are depending on me. Are they?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, do I need to, am I the one, like, am I so important that me making a decision? And I felt that way about canceling plans the other day, where I was just like, I am the pin in this friend. I assembled the friends together. And if I cancel, no one's going out. And I was like, well, like they are leaders, stewards of their own like lives. Friday nights. Like, they can go out if they decide, like, choose to. And I just am in love with my couch. And I am a fool for thinking that I would ever want to be anywhere else but my couch.
Yes. I think we're all just like secretly waiting for everyone to cancel on us. I think like that's the thing is like we're like waiting. We're doing the like back and forth energy of like, is this like we're like waiting for the other person.
Still good? Hey, you still good?
Is 2 o'clock tomorrow still okay? Like, whatever, when really we're hoping it's not.
Yeah.
And it's like, what would happen if we just were like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, and accepted that. And like, because we're like holding on either ends this like thing of responsibility that doesn't need to be there, and it's like pressurized. There's definitely a whole thing about if you cancel, you're bad. If you keep a commitment, you're good. You're reliable. You're trustworthy.
Yeah,
et cetera, et cetera. When I think about this, it's interesting that you bring up workshops. Or when you think of like professional things, right? Or people paying you to be in a place, or you paying people to be in a place, like when there's like exchange in that way going on, I'm like, is there a different set of rules here? I don't know. I don't know if there are. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think the world thinks so, but I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. And I think like the kind of like what we were talking about, this like comes around with sleep conversation, right? Of like the overcommitment, the overscheduling, the overexhaustion, like it's all linked together. Like we're all trying to do too much in a day.
Truly. Oh my God. Oh, I'm getting chills. Yeah.
We can let people off the hook. Like let that person off the hook. Let yourself off the hook together and cancel together. You know what I mean? Like I used to tell clients like when they would cancel something, I'd be like, yes, like good for you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, cancel everything in your life, which is like extreme, obviously. But I think it can be a positive thing when you choose to cancel.
I think so too. The balance in my mind is this like question of like I was reading, maybe it was on the Financial Diet, I can't remember what it was, about like cheapness. Like we're all cheap now, and specifically with not even just not like we're all cheap with our money, but like cheap with our generosity in a way. And so like, she was talking about like, Venmoing everybody for like the pizza that you bought kind of thing. It's like, isn't there pleasure and joy in like buying your friends for
Mm-hmm.
And
I read this too.
Yeah. And like I think the same thing about time, and it's like this balance. And I think like I don't know when, because it's like, yes, showing up to be a good friend, quote unquote good friend, like is a nice thing, but like I just go like, maybe why did I make the commitment in the first place?
Yes.
And so when it is this like question of canceling, I think like I don't know, how do you make that decision? Like when is it like, go be the good friend, go kind of push through, don't be cheap with time, and this is an important, lovely thing. And I can like in my mind, that feels like I can think of so many examples where I don't necessarily feel like going out, but like, oh, I'll meet my friends at a party and like, oh, I do have a really nice time, versus like, I don't know, versus like any other scenario where I'm like, oh, so glad I stayed in. And it's just, it's so loaded. It's actually so loaded. It's so loaded.
I like to think about when I think about canceling, I think like, I like to ask myself, what am I going to feel like on the other side of this? If I go or if I don't go, what am I going to feel like on the other side of this decision? Which can be helpful. But then I also think there's like this thing about keeping commitments, especially when it's social or something, that it's like this weird thing of like, if we do choose to go and do the thing, it has to go well. It's like, which I think is interesting. It's like, because most of the time the canceling, I feel like, has to do with like the effort to show up, to be there, to put the cute outfit on, to write the speech, to like whatever it is. And it's like, is it okay to keep the commitment and show up a mess? Like to show up disheveled, to show up not really wanting to be there, to show up in a complete honesty of who you are in that moment, and have everybody respect that too? Or are we just canceling because we can't be the version of ourselves that we thought we could be in that moment for the other side of whoever's receiving our presence, like the performative aspect of it?
Yeah. I was having like a grumpy day.
I love that noise, by the way.
What?
Whatever you just did. Okay, sorry, grumpy day.
I was having a grumpy day, and what I think is funny about any grumpy day or any emotion, what was the context for it? I couldn't tell you. I have absolutely no idea, but I was having a grumpy day and I didn't want to do anything. And I had booked myself a massage and I didn't even want to go to this massage. And I was having I know what I sound like right now. Like I know what I sound like right now. And this is like the most privileged, ridiculous thing. Yeah. And I walk in, my friend who has the I'm going to see a friend. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And what allowed me to kind of like and also I was like, I'm going to have to pay either way. So it's like, just fucking go. I'm having so many thoughts right now. But the thing that kind of allowed me to go and be okay with getting a massage. Oh my God, I'm such a little brat. But was like, oh, well, I'm going to see my friend who I can show up in whatever kind of way, actually. And I think that is, going to get a massage is a pretty good scenario where you get to be that messy person, perhaps. Yes. And so when I walked in the door, she was like, hey, how are you? And I was like,
I didn't want to be here.
Yeah. And I think.
And that's totally fine.
And that's totally fine. And and I think I've noticed that in myself more when people ask, how's it going? You know, after the last 2 years, where I don't think I've answered good in a while.
Oh, I mean,
Not because I'm bad, but because I'm giving a genuine response to that. And I think about this a lot, but if we didn't take anything away, if you didn't learn a lesson from the last 2 and a bit years, like, what the fuck were you doing? And if you can't learn that lesson of like taking care of yourself, honesty, like showing up as a 3D human being, like the first thing that falls away is pretense. And I just simply don't have the space in my head for that. Maybe because I don't sleep, but maybe because, you know, we're in late stage capitalism and it's like really affecting me.
Yes.
And so if I don't cancel, or if I do show up, like, I'm going to say,
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. And that's what I think of when I say to myself, what will I feel like on the other end of this? I think that really means, will I be loved either way? Like, will I be accepted and loved by the person, by myself, by whoever, either way? And that, I think, is a real test about whether or not you feel good about, or you should cancel or whatever. Or no, whether or not you should have made that commitment in the first place, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. The commitment in Twyla
Tharp talks about this in Twyla Tharp's new book,
The Dancer.
That I can't think of the name of, about, it's like keep making or keep something, not The Creative Habit, which again, Twyla Tharp is amazing. Read The Creative Habit. Her new book, I read it, and she talks about this idea of commitment and like pledging. Keep it moving is what it's called.
Oh, wow. Shit. That's great. That is it.
It's called Keep It Moving, Lessons for the Rest of Your Life. And it's very good, by Twyla Tharp. And she has this whole section in it about...
That is it.
Yep.
Wow.
She has this whole section about commitment and pledging. Like, Elizabeth Gilbert talks about this too, but this idea of like, I never pledged to be a good writer. I think Elizabeth Gilbert says, I pledged to be a writer, right?
Yes.
Or Twyla has a similar thing. Like, what is the pledge that you make to yourself, and how do you constantly show up and stay committed to that pledge? And for Twyla, she talks about how like showing up and staying committed to the pledge is keeping most of the commitments that she makes to herself or other people. Because if she doesn't, it'll start to spiral out, and she will no longer show up for the pledge that she's, the bond and pledge that she's created between herself and her art. Anyways, read this book.
Holy shit, I love that.
And I think keep it moving. Exactly. That expression. Keep it moving. Like, keep it going is helpful.
I love that. I'm having a real moment with that. And that's what I mean when I say like, okay, this is actually, I don't know how, okay. I don't know if this, I'll keep this in. I'm having a real thing with teaching right now. Teaching movement classes again. Obviously I took, quick context. I was teaching 4 to 5 times a week pre-pandemic.
Wow.
Throughout the pandemic, I taught at least once a week online. And I really didn't love the online thing, but I really do. I really did love teaching. And I think I'm having a moment with it right now where, and I always knew, I don't think like any movement instructor kind of knows, I always knew this wasn't forever. Not just because like it's a tough job to do forever. Like it's a really tough thing to do forever. And I'm having this thing right now where, you know, Thursday night rolls around, and it used to be a really exciting thing to me, even when it wasn't. And it's simply not right now. And I think it's because the commitment has changed. Like, and I always feel so okay with, I write every Wednesday morning. I write a newsletter. And even on my worstest days, I'm really okay with doing that because it's really important to me. Even when I quote unquote don't want to do it, it's really important to me. And I'm not saying I'm going to be good because like that container is very specific, but to not necessarily being good or bad or whatever, it just is. Mm-hmm. And I'm having this real thing right now where it's just like there's a lot of resistance, and it's like, I think the commitment has changed actually.
Yeah.
Wow. Figuring that one out in real time.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. I think we can learn a lot about ourselves from what we cancel. I think is what we're saying.
Okay, Miss Ma'am.
Maybe I should rephrase.
No, I love that. No, I love that.
I learn a lot about myself from what I cancel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And a lot about my relationships too.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. And that's what I mean when I say like I can show up. I feel I think I'm a little bit more thoughtful when I'm canceling with somebody who I know will be like, okay, great. Love you anyway. Versus somebody who, I don't know, maybe has I can't think of anybody in my life that has a stink right now.
I mean, and honestly, you know how I feel about that? That's their problem.
Oh, that's 100%. And I think that's why.
That's what you're saying. Yes, yeah. That's what you're saying.
And I think, but what is the commitment to this friendship that I have? And what respect do I have for other people and their time? And like, as drinks on a Friday, like I just don't I think I'm like assigning a lot of self-importance to me.
Yes.
And me showing up, whether it's like at the front of a room or if it's for drinks at a bar. It's just like, who the fuck cares?
Who cares? And I think most of the time when I am like, I see this reflected in myself a lot too. Like when I like when I'm thoughtful about the cancel, or when I'm like, this thing happened and it really is the fucking truth, and I'm trying to show you like I value you and I'm very sorry I have to do this. Most people are like, what are you fucking talking about? I don't care. Like I forgot that we're supposed to talk at 8 a.m. or I forgot I don't really want to do this anyways or whatever. And I put so much emphasis, exactly what you're saying, on like my own shit. And it's like, are people even thinking about you in that way? No.
No, we're all too concerned. They're all too concerned with themselves, right?
Exactly. Which is why we are concerned with ourselves on this side of the exactly. Yeah. Anyways. Canceling.
It's given me a lot to chew on because when I do cancel, I mean, it's always a drama. And it's always a drama, and you know that because you're on the shock. I'm constantly looking for permission, right? Yeah. I'm constantly, is it okay?
Yeah.
Am I still loved if I cancel?
That's what it is. Am I still loved and accepted by whoever and ourselves, or like by me? That's what it is.
Yeah. Yuck.
Nothing. Everything is everything, and nothing is nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like everything is related to everything.
Yeah.
That's the point of this podcast.
Oops.
Anyways, we're all chronically exhausted. We don't know how to sleep. We're trying to cancel. We're trying to cancel so that we can sleep.
Who knew our intro would be so pointed?
Here we are.
Okay, well, thanks for that one.
You're welcome. To be continued, I feel. This is another pod as well.
I mean, we hit the bingo sheet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll come back with some findings on this.
Yes, let's do a discovery. This is a good idea. Let us observe our canceling habits, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about what we've learned. Ooh. Join us in this experiment, listeners. We will make a note.
I was just as I was editing the best friends, everyone thinks we're best friends episode. I was like, everyone's going to think we're horrible friends. but also I don't care.
I don't care. And I actually think that we're trying to be better friends by asking those questions.
Yeah.
And if anybody thinks we're bad friends, they're being triggered by it. That's all I'm looking to say. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Oh, dear.
Laying it down this week, friends.
Thank you for listening to Do You Ever Feel Like?
Follow this chaos wherever you get your podcasts.
Our artwork is by Simon Peng. Do You Ever Feel Like is produced by Jacqueline Wills
and Phoebe Taylor. You can follow us on Instagram at doyoueverpod.
You can write to us at doyoueverpod@gmail.com. Okay, bye!
Bye!